Let's introduce the panel. On my immediate right, we have the National Commissioner for the South African Police Services, General Fani Masemula. On his right, that's the Minister of Justice and Correctional Services, followed by the Minister of Police, and followed by the Deputy Minister for Correctional Services. Minister, I'd like to invite you to read out the statement, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, Crispin. The Minister of Police, Bheki Cele, the National Commissioner for South African Police Service, General Masemula, the Deputy Minister of Correctional Services, Nkosi Pategile Olomisa, and members of the media and everyone who's here. I will now read the statement as an update from government on the escapee, Thabo Bester, and his accomplice. The ministers responsible for justice and correctional services and police, Ronald Lamola and Bheki Cele, would like to thank the government of Tanzania on behalf of the government of South Africa for its unequivocal cooperation in the matter which relates to the arrest and the process of deportation of Thabo Bester and Dr Nandipha Magudumana. We will endeavor to emulate this level of cooperation with other countries in areas of mutual legal assistance, related matters. The high-level delegation led by the Department of Home Affairs sent to Tanzania on Monday, the 9th of April 2023, has successfully concluded the deportation of the fugitives. We can confirm that these fugitives have been returned to South Africa. Mr. Thabo Bester has been readmitted into the Mangaung Central Maximum Correctional Facility, and Dr Nandipha Magudumana is under arrest, pending her first court appearance this morning. We are grateful to all the role players seized with this matter thus far. This includes state agencies and members of the public who have shared information that has assisted in the detention of the two fugitives following an extensive manhunt. Thus far, there is considerable progress with a number of arrests that are being made. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister. I would then take the opportunity to invite questions from members of the media. I'll give you a number and then just please remember your number. First round of 5 hands, please. 1, 2, 3, 4. Please state the media house that you're from and then proceed with your question.
Good morning, Daniel Steyn from Granda. Good morning, I'm Daniel Steyn from Granda. I'd like to know how many people are currently in police custody, either arrested or in police custody, relating to the Thabo Bester escape.
Good morning,
Aisha, microphone.
Sorry. Aisha Ismail from ENCA. I'd like to know which court Dr. Nandipha Magudumana will be appearing in this meeting.
Mercedes from SABC in Pali. I've got multiple questions here. The first one is, Minister, can you explain why he has been moved to a CMAX? Because there's a difference between maximum and CMAX. It was one of the questions I was going to ask, but I realized now that he is now at Mangaung, which is a CMAX. Not so, okay. Maybe to explain to the nation as to when would you transfer somebody to a CMAX. The second issue here is about his safety as well in prison. How are you going to ensure that he is safe for his own sake, safe against himself, and also those who might want to eliminate him, because he is a key witness, and obviously there are many people who are implicated. So that's the second one. And this is somebody who's got nothing to lose, Minister Bheki Cele and Minister Ronald Lamola, because he's already serving a life sentence. How sure are you going to get cooperation from him and ensuring that he doesn't defeat the ends of justice? Because life is life, even if the courts can give him 10 more lives. He knows he's going back, and that's life. And at some stage he might qualify to be released on parole again. Not again, but we know, so life is life. So he's got nothing to lose. Laptops, the issue around laptops, yesterday Coke was saying it is very disturbing that members of parliament seem shocked that Bester had a laptop in prison, and this is something not illegal. This is something that they've raised quite for many years, to say for inmates to have laptops, it's a danger. So, and they're now calling for this issue of allowing inmates to have laptops in prison to be reviewed. What are you saying about that, Minister Lamola? That's for now.
Yes. All right. Thank you, Chris. My name is Atim Tongana from Newsroom Africa. I think my colleagues have largely covered me, but I think another question to add then would be, how did they leave South Africa?
There was a question behind you. Vice for someone. Please introduce yourself and ask the question.
Good morning, I'm Jenny Evans from U24. Can you tell us how are the children? Are they, could you just, without reading much of their own situation, are they okay? Thank you.
Okay. Maybe we can start taking the questions. We are now joined also by our National Commissioner, Mr. Samuel Tubachani.
You can start with the maximum prison.
So you can then start to answer some of the questions, Commissioner, and then we'll take it from the National Commissioner, and then the two ministers will round up the responses. The one question that came was, why Kgosi Mampuru?
We have admitted him at Kgosi Mampuru because when we looked at the security plan, moving him from where they landed to the nearest facility that has got all security measures that would ensure that he doesn't harm himself, that would also ensure that he's not harmed by any other person. The most appropriate facility then was identified to be Kgosi Mampuru. And obviously in that facility we have different sections. We chose to then accommodate him at CMEX because we're also looking at the intensity of the security and the contact that we need to manage around him, given the type of offender he is. We are placing a 24/7 surveillance on him. We are also placing a 24/7 contact with him with selected highly trained correctional services officials to ensure that whatever circumstance that he finds himself in, we will be first on call with regards to attending to that, but to ensure that we do not experience any security breach. The section that he is at is a section that we have admitted high profile and high risk offenders over time, and we have not had any security breaches or incidents that would put these offenders in danger because of what they can do to themselves or any other person they get in contact with. Thank you.
National Commissioner Sabs.
Thanks very much. The number of people arrested locally here at home, we have 3. One is under questioning, and when you add with Bester and Nandipha, then it becomes 5 arrested, 1 still under question, which is being interviewed. A decision will still be made whether he gets arrested or not.
Okay. Mr. Lamola and Mr. Kwena.
Okay. The first question is, which court is he appearing? She will be appearing in Bloemfontein. The one related to the laptops. Maybe I must just read the section 41. Maybe before I read it, I must also premise that some of the questions will not be able to go into details because we are still going to the portfolio committee to answer. We also do not want them to accuse us of preempting the portfolio committee. So we'll request that with their indulgence, you will get some of your answers there. And also, if you are not satisfied, we can further engage you after the portfolio committee, which will give respect to that committee. But I will answer the few that are here for now. Section 41 of the Correctional Services Act says that the department must provide or give access to as full a range of programs and activities, including needs-based programs, as is practically possible to meet the educational and the training needs of sentenced offenders. And it does not end there. You will remember that the Department of Correctional Service was taken to court by one of the inmates in a judgment of Mr. Ambrose Heni versus Minister of Justice and Correctional Services. It's a Gauteng High Court division of the High Court decision. I will just give you what the judgment said. The order is, the applicants are allowed to use their personal laptops in their single cells without the use of a modem. The laptops will be made available for inspection at any given time. The applicants will have use of their laptops in their single cells for as long as they remain registered students with a recognized tertiary institution in South Africa. So that is a court order that we have, and as a department we are duty bound to comply with the order. I think the members were asking, was he still a student or not, which G4S is expected to provide the details today. But we will deal with those issues in the committee as and when it becomes a question to us and a matter of presentation. Thank you, Crispin. I think that is the only two.
Nothing much. How they left? They left illegal because there were no documents. How they left? They left illegal. They left the country illegal because nothing shows in any whatever form of documentation that they left the country legally. Maybe they will explain exactly as they come back and ask and pee and all that. At least one person we know who did not come back, that he came in the country legally and left illegally. He came with the Mozambican passport and he left without any form of legality. Maybe I know that you read the statement, Minister, of thanking the teams that have been working on the matter, that they come back, and we can thank more the officials that of Tanzania and the officials that have been dealing with the matter until this morning as they ended at 5. Thanks.
The other one, I do have follow-up for the commissioner there afterwards, but the minister, to both of you, I'm sure I was asking, this is somebody who's got nothing to lose. How sure are you that you will cooperate? How sure are you that you will cooperate, and because he is a witness as well, and that you will reveal what happened, because there are many people involved?
Okay, let's just take all the other questions, and this is the final round, colleagues. Unfortunately, we are pressed for time.
Okay, then. I still have follow-up.
Pick a struggle.
Okay. The follow-up for Commissioner from Koshimampuru, when you're talking about the high security, it's a high security prison, and the reason you gave the reasons, I'm not so convinced about the reasons. However, I want to find out how many escapes have you had, because that's a CMEX prison in the last 5 years. The one person I know years ago who escaped was Ananias Mate. And then how will he be transported? Where is he going to appear in court? Is he going to be in Bloemfontein? And how will he be transported every day? I mean, whenever he appears in court. So that is another question. And the escapes. And then, what is the other question here? Yeah, so that is it. How many escapes have you had? And then you also talked about, you make sure that you keep him there so that he doesn't harm himself. When you say harm himself, I'm sure harm or harm even, because he can even harm himself and arm himself with a belt and commit suicide. And that was the question to say about the safety, to make sure that he doesn't even commit suicide and that he is also not being eliminated, because there are many people who are allegedly involved. And if he intends, or if he is going to spill the beans.
The beans we want.
No, I'm just saying. I think that there are many people, Minister, who have been questioned.
We want the beans.
Yes, the beans.
We want the beans.
Good morning, I'm Abra Barbie of the SABC. I just need to know, will the media be allowed to actually see proof of life of these two people? I mean, I know we saw images of them this morning, but we never actually saw their faces. I mean, if you just look at the Gavin Watson issue, he was never seen. So will we actually be able to see that these are the two people who have now been arrested and who are with you?
Just to answer that, Ms. Nandipha, the Minister said is appearing in court today. Court is a open process. But we never parade prisoners, and we're not going to start with prisoners. If they appear in court, that will happen.
Just some clarity on the Mozambique national. Will this person be brought to South Africa? Is he in South Africa? And what charges will he be facing?
Thank you. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News. Just if you could just clarify the charges that Dr. Magudumana will be facing today. And can you just clarify their return to South Africa? Was that a private chartered plane back here? Did they, and were they all transported together, or was that on the commercial side, just for clarity? Thank you.
My point of clarity as well is around Thabo Bester. Can you give us details as to what is going to happen now that he has been rearrested and is back into a correctional services facility? We know that Dr. Nandipha is going to appear in court, but what is actually going to happen with regards to Thabo Bester? And the other question is, will the Department of Justice and Correctional Services in the Portfolio Committee respond to reports that the Deputy Minister received an email notifying him about the escape, or anything along those lines? Will you be speaking to that in the Portfolio Committee meeting? Thank you.
The last answer to the question, or the question to the last answer is definitely yes. But let's again start in the same order and then come back to the political principles that come.
Yeah, I will not obviously respond to the question about the modes of transport and the security blame around transporting the offender to court or to any other place. There has not been any escape from CMEX in the past 5 years. The Ananias Mate incident happened before we upgraded the facility. Now, thirdly, there are items that we do not allow offenders to access to when they are in the cells or in the facility, and one of them is obviously the belt that you referred to. Those are identified as harmful items, and we don't allow them to have those items. And I must indicate that these are the types of offenders that will always be on watch, on the clock, because we know the type of security environment that we are managing as the Department of Correctional Services. Thank you.
Commissioner Sachs.
Thanks. The Mozambican national, the case is still under investigation. We will determine whether what offences have been committed in the arrest day. If so, then we will embark on a process for extradition to the country. That's what we are busy on. We are still investigating. Once we have determined what charges, then we will embark on an extradition process. The charges Magudumana will be facing, you recall, is involved in the aiding and abetting the escape. He will also be facing murder of a number of bodies that we did find in his possession, and also violation of bodies. That will be another charge. He will also be facing the fraud charges. With regard to cooperation by Bester, well, that I can also answer. The investigating officer of the case is the one that will know better, and I can't say whether he's going to be cooperative with the investigation or not cooperative. But the investigating officer of the case is the one that will be dealing with him, and will take it from there. I think those are
dear moderator, just want to make some remarks.
Just to confirm what you said, with respect to the question as to whether we will be responding to a question relating to correspondence that I'm supposed to have received, we'll definitely respond to any and every question that is asked of us before the portfolio committee. Just one comment, if I may, regarding the statement to the effect that life is life, that if you are sentenced to life, then you are required expected to serve the whole sentence. In South Africa, we have a policy which is at the international level, which is that everyone who has been sentenced for incarceration at some stage is expected to be released. We don't really expect them to die there of old age just because they are sentenced to life. There are rehabilitation programs that we have that are aimed at ensuring that the conduct of the inmates is corrected so that they become useful and law-abiding citizens at some stage. Hence we have the parole systems and those kinds of facilities. Thank you.
No follow-ups. Minister?
There's a follow-up for the minister, for the commissioner.
No follow-ups.
Commissioner?
Can you answer all questions, please?
So
But
you're being
you
this,
still
you're
have
being
20 minutes. This is very
our
important.
20 minutes. We have to still go to a podcast.
Will you take a follow-up, Commissioner?
He won't. Minister, can you please answer the question?
Commissioner, you said something, you answered me, so a follow-up, I need clarity.
We'll take it outside if necessary.
No. We can't take it outside. Minister, Commissioner, let me ask you something. You are continuing with investigations. Some of these investigations you hear is those middlemen, people who have been arrested and so on. Your continuous investigation, arrest and so on, is there a possibility that you're also looking at high-ranking officials and politicians?
Minister,
are they on the list of those who are being investigated? Because we know that it's out there that there were possibly politicians involved.
Well, at least you have one witness here. That she will help us. At least you have one witness here. She will help us because she knows that they were politicians. But arrests are led by investigations. Investigations are continuing. Wherever investigation leads us, no matter how high that will be, we'll reach that. There is a question originally asked of the, I think it was answered of cooperation. We know that the good doctor cooperated on the other side. We know that customary husband of the good doctor, did not cooperate, even from the other side. There is this question, then how do you know? How will you know? Well, it has been answered that you go to court and you see her. That question is linked how they were brought back, especially now I don't know exactly his name, but he is called Thabo Bester, sometimes called many other names. But the South African team, there were 2 South African teams that left on the 9th, and has been based there, is still based there negotiating. One thing that they did was also a technical team. They took his fingerprints that they were sent back in the country, and those they meshed. So that satisfied the officials of Tanzania. Otherwise, they had to be satisfied that is a South African, and we have evidence on that. That has been satisfied with that. So it has been forensically approved. That is him, and then the coming back of him is granted by the officials on the other side on that way. Surely, when he appears in court, if we will appear in court again, you will see him. You saw the images, but as I've said, that scientifically and forensically, it has been proved that Thabo is him. Also, the fingerprints of the lady were taken, though she was very much cooperative, we're told, going forward. Thanks.
Yeah, I think indeed we will answer all the questions related to the DM. Also myself, what did I know? When did I know it? Who told me? And what did I do? We will answer all those, including the DM. We will do that at the portfolio committee. And the issues related to the passports and so forth, Home Affairs will have a press briefing tomorrow morning. They will clarify all those issues. We once more want to conclude by thanking again the government of Tanzania for their cooperation. And we do believe that this is, does reflect to the people of South Africa that the issues of deportation, extradition, and mutual legal assistance also depend on the state that is being requested, its political will to assist you. Thank you very much, Crispin.
Thank you, Minister. This concludes our press briefing. Colleagues, thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner, sorry, I just want to clarify the charges that you mentioned. You said he, so I was unclear with the best that he. So I know that she thing is a thing. So those are all the charges she will face. Okay, but extra charges that he might face will probably be similar.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, sorry. And then just one last thing. What's happening, guys?